Hello, I'm Muhammad Mamadov, and in this video I'm going to explain our assignment 2 from Web and Mobile 2 course. So for this assignment, we have to implement security and logging in Spring, and I would like to go over the tasks and show the way they work and also related code. So to start with, the first one is related to creating a CRUD for a single entity using DTO pattern and also using the validation for necessary form fields. So let's enter our system. I'll explain the logging part later. So let's enter as admin. So as you can see, there are no book yet, so I can create new book. So let it be DSA Arthur Martin and description data structures. So I can create that book. So I can do edit operations. So for the sake of showing you the this part validation, let me leave one of them as empty and try to update. So as you can see, it says please fill out this field. So I can also make it blank and try to update, but again it won't update. So this should be valid name, valid title, so I can update it now. Similarly, I can also do deletion. So let's create random book and delete it here. So all our changes are also reflected in H2 database. So let's connect it here, and if we look at the books, so we see our book here as well. So let's have a look at the code. So in code in model, I have DTO and entity directories. I created the book DTO and book here. They are similar actually to each other. The fields are similar. However, we have to have mapper, DTO entity mapper, and in this class, I have three different methods: converting DTO to entity, converting entity to DTO, and also converting entity list to DTO list. And most of these methods I applied was in service. So in before service, let's look at repository. So there's nothing special here, it just extends JPA repository, and I use the related methods. I overwrite them later in service. So in service, as you can see, I did a dependency injection for book repository and DTO entity mapper with constructor injection. So here are all my methods getting all books. So as you can see, I choose using DTO entity mapper, then convert that entity list to DTO list and then return it. So the same logic applies for getting book by ID. Here I used method reference over DTO entity mapper. I have create book, update book, and delete book. All of them works in the same logic. Let's also have a look at our controller, book controller. So here I handle the HTTP requests for different passes. So I get all books. I have get mapping here. I pass the respective attributes to my model to HTML file, so it gets handled there. So I have get mapping for creating, for posting, similar thing for update form, get and post. So I check for validation, and in case there are no errors, I try to call the method from the service and return the respective page. So I also have it for delete book as well. So that was about our entity and the respective CRUD operations using DTO pattern and also validations. So the next task is about enabling Spring Security and also creating simple login page. And we have two default users, and we make sure that admin can access all cloud operations while the user can only read those records, and also logout mechanism from an existing page. So that one is easy. Let me show you. So I have logout as part of menu. So whenever I try to create new book, I can log out, or I try to update. Oh, sorry. Let's go books again. I try to update book. I see it as part of a menu, so I can log out at any time. So enabling Spring Security, the most of the work is done here for security configuration. Here I check it for CCRF, cross-site request forgery, and I have my request matchers. So I have different authorization rules for different URL passes, so that for admins, this means that admin can access this URL. Sign up permits all books. Whenever we enter books, if we are not authenticated, we first get authenticated. And also for H2 console, we have the permission for all, as long as we provided the necessary credentials mentioned in application properties. And here is our form login with this custom login page, and after logging we by default direct to books page, and at the end I return http.build. That was about our configuration. Most of the logic gets handled there. We also have authorization. So the thing authorization I have in util class security utils, I have one method. It is admin. So I take the current credentials of the user and check whether it's admin or not. If it's admin, it returns true, otherwise false. So I use that is admin in my book service implementation. So the reason is in the requirements it's mentioned that if it's admin, that person can create, update, and delete. So for creation, update, and delete, in all of them I first check whether that person is admin. So if it's not admin, I just threw the exception stating that there is unauthorized access, so admin privilege is required. Otherwise, if it's admin, I do the work as usual. That was about logging in and authorization. And also let me show you two existing users. I included them in init folder here. If you look at db user bootstrapper, so here using application runner, I create my admin user, I save it to database, and I also create another user with my name and I encode it. So let's show it on the code as well. So let's log out. So when we enter as admin, we see the list of books. We can add new book, edit existing book, or delete book. However, if I enter as regular user, the password is from 1 to 5, I can only see the list of books. I cannot edit it or delete it, or I cannot create even new book. Also, by the way, there is one home page I included. So if you enter as user, it says welcome lead user, and if you enter as admin, it says welcome admin. So I believe that I explained the important things related to this part as well. So let's move to sign up page. So the task here is to create the sign up page, and the user should be able to register themselves with user role, and they should be able to log into the system. So let's log out from the system and let's sign up. And let's say username is Bob, email is bob at mail.com, and let's password 123. So I sign up and I log in, Bob 123, and as a regular user I just see the list of books without other CRUD operations as required in the task. So there is one interesting thing I also want to demonstrate here. So I have my username in the system, Mohammad. Let's try to create new user with username Mohammad again. Let the password be a@mail.ru and password 123. So you see that it says username already exists. Please choose another username. So it makes sure that we don't have duplicate usernames in the system. So let's make it Mamadov, and now this time let's make the mail same, mamad at ada.edu.us. So again, so let's write password 123. It says email address is already registered, so it both checks for username and email. So let's email md at dl.com. I just randomly throw it, and this is password 123, and now we can sign up. Let's show it on the code as well. For the coding part, we have here user repository. So in user repository, I have in this interface, I have abstract methods finding by username, exists by username, and exists by mail. So these are the conditionals that I check before creating the new user, saving it to the repository. So in my service, I tried to field inject the user repository and also password encoder, and implement those methods in repository here in this part. And here in registration controller, as you can see, I have get mapping here and post mapping here. So in get mapping, I just show the sign up form, and in post mapping, again, I do the same validations that I did in the CRUD operation here as well. So making sure that the user cannot create a new user with blank or empty space fields, and I also use the job pattern again here. I check for any errors. If there are, I just let the user know. If there is not, I then move to checking whether the username and email exists in the system. If they are not, I just call the sign up method from the user service and create the new user. So I think I explained the important things related to this part as well. And the last but not least one is using logging to show information, warning, and errors in the controller actions. So for logging, I also try to use them in my controllers as required in the task. I imported SLF4J, and I created logger from logger factory, and each time when the user tries to do some invalid operations or successful operations, if it's invalid, if let's say for instance, as you can see in this line, there is attempted to create a book with invalid data, I send a warning message, or for other case, if it's successful creation, I just send information. So actually when we started the application, we did some of them. So the logs are here, you can see. So at the last I registered my model, user signed up successfully. as you can see, attempted to create a book with invalid data because it was the one that I tried to just click the button without any details. So I created successfully. These are information related. So again, I have attempted to update a book with invalid data. So previously I tried to change the title to blank and edit the book. However, it didn't work as it's supposed, and thus a related log message is included here as well. I explained the main points related to this task. I didn't want to deep dive into the details of our HTML pages because they are very similar to the previous assignments. So for the sake of Spring Security and logging, I summarized all the important information. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much.